Dude, I love teaching people that kind of stuff because I mean, like, I can do it, you can do it awesome, but you're not gonna do it the way I do it, and I love to see the way you do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like people like worried about people teaching how to tattoo or doing the stuff that you do, like that's great, but they're not good. They're not gonna be you, and that's the
Uh,
biggest thing. Like people are scared that they're gonna take your job or take your business. Like that's great. If they do, then you can just be better.
Hey everybody, we have Squire here who just got done doing a seminar at Electric Fields, and now we're going to interview him about his life and tattooing.
Yeah. Well, I feel like just the conversation that we had this morning too, but it's like everything that it's like the shop, the merch, your presentations. I feel like your attention to detail is just like next level, and I feel like it's something that people like really appreciate. It's like I haven't been able to buy any merch from you, but just I've heard other people talk, like a lot of other
Oh,
people
cool.
talk about it. So do you want to kind of like explain what you do with your merch, because like it's pretty next level.
Yeah, what it all started was I started doing more conventions, and sitting there with the conventions, just tons of tattooers, and I was just like, how can I stand out here among all these people? What's going to make my things different? And I did paintings and stuff like that, but you see a painting, it's all the same stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm not just like going to conventions. You always think about what these other tattooers are going to think about me. You don't care what the clients are usually when you first start it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to impress these other tattooers. So I make stuff that was like targeted towards them, like
Mm.
cool skulls and all that stuff. And I kind of like, I was like, that's not like my demographic. Like, I'm trying to get these people that want to get tattooed by me and possibly buy my merch. So I started like expanding it, and I was like, I'm gonna market everything, everybody. So I started focusing more on like just the presentation and like having people walk by and like, oh, that's cool. And I mean, I was just watching some old. I'm bad. Like I'll go to the shop, and like on my phone, I just watch old '80s commercials because it's just fun. It's just nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I was like, and there was some old logos flying up, and I was like, that's so cool. That'd be cool if I can make my name like an old logo like that. And I didn't know how to use Photoshop that well. Like I knew how to import pictures and like do some stuff in there. And I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this. And I just busted down and made like a logo, '80s logo. I kind of had a friend make a sticker of it, and everybody wanted it. And I was like, this is me now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I started focusing more on that kind of stuff. I was like, I'm gonna start making these '80s logos, and I kept it really close to that. I was like, how can I incorporate tattoo designs into this, but not like straight up tattoo looking stuff? So I incorporate different colors with it and all that. And I realized I started like getting attention from other people and stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna start talking to everybody. I want to make a shirt or make whatever that anybody sees that anybody wants to buy. And it's that's kind of where it all started,
Yeah.
pretty much. And then, I mean, I always led to like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure it out. Start making commercials and learn how to use like motion graphics and stuff. And it gets time consuming because I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll get really jump really into it. I get into it. I do it for a while. Then I stop for about 3 months. And like, oh, another convention's coming up, and I gotta relearn it again. Everything's new. So it's
Yeah.
fun though. It drives me crazy, but it's
So you
awesome.
pretty much do it like all yourself, like the marketing, the packaging.
I do.
I wasn't so Bobby was on or sorry, Squire was on Bobby's podcast a while back, and I listened to that. I listened to that episode like a couple years ago, and I like recently started it, but I was like, oh, I don't want to listen to the whole thing because I
Was a
wanted to
fun
like forget more of the stuff so I could ask some questions. But one of the things that they were talking about is like you do like your own screen printing, even.
Yeah, I don't screen print like actual shirts and stuff. I always like want to, if somebody buys something from me, I want to like make sure it's like super interesting when they get it. So I kind of like go above and beyond with packaging. So
Yeah.
when they open it up, they're like, dang, that's cool, to take a picture. This is cool. Everybody else is like, that's cool. I want that too. So it kind of like gives me the idea, like if more interesting you is, because like getting something in the mail is like still special. People still love getting it in the
Yeah,
mail.
totally.
So I was like, how can I make it extra special?
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah, they were saying on that podcast it's almost like Apple where like the box is just so
yeah.
nice. Like you don't want to throw away the box even though it's like
Yeah.
I don't have any use for
Yeah.
this, you know?
So that's the thing. Like, I was like, I got this idea. I wanted to like make these tubes and like the shirt itself. That's what basically the presentation I did in Austin was about, like this process of that idea. And so I was like, I got an idea. I want these tubes. I want them screen printed. And I started looking around where to get them screen printed. And then, of course, it's like one tube's $10. I was like, I need like 500 of them. I was like, that's a lot of money. I was like, I can do this myself. and spend way more money on that trying to do it myself than I could have bought it.
Yeah.
So I started researching like how can I screen print these things, and I saw some guy build like a screen print tube thing on like YouTube, and I
Hmm.
was like, I can do that. And I built it like out of wood and stuff, and I like ordered some screens online, and I started screening it, and it didn't. I mean, I messed up like hundreds of tubes, and I was like, I'm never going to get this because you had to get like the tube right onto the screen when you pull it. If
Yeah.
not, the ink goes through and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I
Mm.
have videos of all of it, but I finally started rolling with it, and I got one, and I was like, I did it again, and but it was already like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I
Yeah.
was like, I got so many to do. If I stop, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I did like 30 of them, and I stopped. The next morning, I tried to get it messed it up, and I was like, I give up. I can't do this. So I ended up ordering them and like trying to find them. But I mean, there's people out there who have like 200 hand screen ones. You
Yeah.
guys are special. So,
Man, that's so awesome.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so I did that, and it was awesome.
I think you're such a great example too, just like hearing how you always just want to grow. And I just want to make it clear, like you said, you've been tattooing for 25 years, right?
Yeah, yeah, 24. I mean, I started in 2000, 2001, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was back in the day. I looked at a magazine. I was like, I want to try that. Ordered, called, and got my stuff in my house and started tattooing in my house. But I think like when I got into a shop kind of thing, probably about 3 years after that. I was in a shop before that, but like it wasn't around people. I think so. I kind of count like maybe 20 years.
Still, I mean, 20, 25 years, you're the perfect example. And Bobby said it where he's like, you either want to be that tattooer in 30 years where people are like, yeah, well, he's been tattooing for 30 years.
Yeah,
Or you want to be that tattooer that's like, yeah, he's been tattooing for like
yeah.
30
How long you been
years.
tattooing for? So versus like, oh, how long you been tattooing for? So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
It's usually like when you tattoo for that long, or not usually, but there's a lot of people that go in two different
hmm
directions. And even you wanting to like learn how I tattoo and take like a private
yeah.
seminar from me is just like it's fucking awesome seeing like someone who's been doing this so well for so long, just continually wanting to grow
It
and
yeah.
produce merch and learn new techniques. You're a great example of that.
I mean, like I feel like it never ends. Like if I want, I can be that 30-year tattooer and be like, I'm just doing what I do and be like, I'm content. I'm never content. Like I
Mm,
can be better. Like I come here and I'm like, oh, how can I do this? Like
mm.
Yeah.
it's just like that. At the same time, I dive into stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? I look in the mirror, like, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? So kind of thing.
Well, it just
So
seems like you really like enjoy learning.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let my family down. So like it's just
Mhm.
something I always want to keep going. And I feel like it's like I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want yeah.
Do you have a significant other?
Yeah, I've been married as well as for 25 years almost. We've been
Oh,
together for 25 years, we've been married for 20. So we've been together before I started tattooing. So she's been on this whole journey with me as well. And we have two kids. I have a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old and boy and a
wow.
girl. So
Oh my
yeah,
God. That's
they're grown
amazing.
adults.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
they're like full-grown
yeah,
people.
they're awesome.
Um, yeah, I'm just first time I saw you and all your stuff, I was just blown away by
Oh,
your
thank you.
attention to detail and everything, and I'm so
I
excited.
guess it's working.
Yeah.
Totally.
What's some favorite tools to like produce your graphic designs or
Uh,
your, I mean, you do don't you do like jewelry, you do shirts,
I
you
don't
do
jewelry. My wife, that's my wife's business. So
really?
she does all that. I say that she is like, I have all their stuff displayed when you go into conventions like you saw. And
Yeah.
she comes up and everybody's like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at those shirts. Oh, look at this. So like her stuff's the standout stuff.
You got to step it up, man.
And
I'm just
that's
kidding.
what I say. I was like, I gotta step it up. I was like, everybody hates my stuff now. They don't want to buy your stuff. So, but I like we do collaboration stuff on designs. So there's like she has her target audience and I have my target audience with the jewelry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we should make this, and this. And she's like, I'll make this and this and this.
Oh my
And
goodness. So it's like a partnership.
yeah. But we have like a full like business at our house. So she has the laser cutter and stuff. So we do all laser cut stuff at the house and stuff. And for tools, that's what we use for that kind of stuff. So that's the whole reason I bought the laser cutter as well, because I was like, after screening these tubes, I was like, well, maybe I can just like engrave them. Got laser cutter and didn't work either. And then my wife's like, well, now you bought this thing, I got to figure out how to make money with it.
Yeah.
So she
Can
was a
I
new.
can I ask how expensive that was?
We researched a little bit. And we're like, I'm kind of person like I want the best at first
Yeah.
because I can either get the best first or get the cheapest first, and then
Spend more money.
spend more money in line. Is going to spend money. But I'm trying to figure it out first. I couldn't build a laser cutter, of course. So we researched. We were going to get some like out like overseas, and just like I was like, where's the technical support? If I can't call them and be like, hey, I'm having a problem with it. So we found a place in Colorado. It's called Epilogue, and the first machine we bought was 17,000. It was a small one. It's probably about the size of this table. It was like only the cutting space was like 12 by 11.
Wow.
But then we sold that one because Paige, my wife, she started, progressing and doing bigger things. And the second machine we got was 35,000. And this one's like super nice. It has like a camera on it, so you can like actually close in a point where you want to like cut and stuff.
Wow.
And cut a little thicker material and stuff. And like I want a bigger one now, because even though I'm not using it, but I was like, I can make stuff with this.
Yeah, that's
So
so
we're trying to
cool,
figure it out. But our like it's loud, and we like to keep it inside of our house in our office. So if we get something bigger, it has to start going in the garage. And I know my wife doesn't want to work in the garage, so
Yeah, totally.
but for that stuff, but all that stuff ties into use Photoshop, Illustrator, and all that stuff to make the graphics. And so I try to make everything like print ready. So Photoshop first, and I vectorize it and get everything ready so I can scale things to print. And
Wow.
all the motion graphics is I make most of it in Photoshop as well, because you can do like time frames and key stuff, and or like After Effects. So
Nice. And I guess like you utilize maybe YouTube University.
YouTube everything. If I can't figure something out, I have like 4 monitors. So
Yeah.
like I'm over here like, how do I do this? And I put
Yeah.
it up here, and I'm doing what the guy's doing, watching it. I do it, watching it, and then you kind of like, okay, if he's doing that, I can do this. I can make it better this way. Oh, I can do that, but I can play this. So it's just like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Same thing with PowerPoint. Like I didn't know how to use PowerPoint as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, making regular slides, making it do this, and I was like, it looks like a PowerPoint. And I was like, I don't want to look like a PowerPoint. I want to like, and that goes back to like the wow factor. I'm like, I want somebody to sit down like after 2 or 3 different PowerPoints, and they sit down, and they like fly into a room with like motion graphics, and they'd be like, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
I'm in for
Yeah.
this ride. And that's what my whole philosophy is. I want them to be in for the ride. I like to wow people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do.
That's
like
awesome, man.
like why you, I guess.
Yeah.
We just did a podcast with a social media expert yesterday, and he was all like, he kept saying like, why you, why should people listen to you and come to you?
That's
What makes
thing.
you different? And that's just so fascinating. Yeah, I really want to learn like I want to learn that now. I want to spice up my presentation.
Same. Yeah. I was like in my head, I'm like, oh, dude, what if I did this for the next one? Yeah. And I'm like, I have no idea.
I love to. I love teaching people that kind of stuff, because I mean, like, I can do it. You can do it. You can do it awesome, but you're not gonna do it the way I do it. And I'd love to see the way you do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like people like worried about people teaching how to tattoo or doing stuff that you do. Like that's great, but they're not good. They're not gonna be you. And that's the biggest thing. Like people are scared that they're gonna take your job or take your business. Like that's great. If they do, then you can just be better.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
and that's the
There
thing.
it
Like,
is.
and that's what, and that's the biggest thing. Like, so somebody starts tattooing like I do. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of people doing what I'm doing already, but they're not me. And if they are and they start getting into it, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna switch it up and do something different. And
Yeah.
that's what I strive for. Because like now I got to work more. I don't want to be uncomfortable. Or I want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be content.
Yeah.
So,
It's a conversation we have a lot, but I always feel like when you actually get like, I feel like the higher level artists, like they're the ones that are cool with sharing their knowledge, because they're
Yeah.
not like
yeah.
worried about that shit. And I feel like it's like the people that are struggling, that's like, why are you teaching people how to do this? You know, because it all comes from a place
Everybody,
of
they
insecurity.
want to learn. They're going to learn, no matter where.
Yes,
They're going
totally.
to learn from you. They're going to learn from somebody that's shitty. They're going to learn from it's even better than you. Who knows? But they want to learn. Want to learn. You should be full fortune. They want to learn from you. You have something to offer that other people don't. And like I said, I just love to share knowledge. Like it's just hard for me to get it out of my head to get sometimes, but like ask me questions. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
totally.
And
Yeah,
how
and they're sorry.
Yeah, how boring would it be if you were the best all the time
Yeah.
and there is nowhere to grow?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so boring. We were having a conversation not too long ago, like specifically about this. Just worrying about, not worrying, but like once in a while, like I'll post pre-designs or something, and I'm afraid to like show the whole thing, and I'll do it at an angle and then
Yeah.
here, and still even with that, I might see
Mm-hmm.
someone kind of like take that idea that I try to like hide a little bit of and like do something right away
Yeah.
with that. And I'm, there are moments where I find myself being like, fuck, like I just want to have like a thing just for a moment,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but part of that too is like I want to trust people to not just straight up copy
Mm-hmm.
and just do their own style
Yeah.
with it. And to like, if they do, then it just means that you have more room to grow and get better.
Yeah.
And you're
Exactly.
absolutely right
Yeah,
about that.
it
Yeah.
is.
That's a conversation that like Bobby's talked about before, because like he's gotten frustrated in the past of like people like not ripping and stuff. But obviously he's inspired a lot of people, so a lot of
Yeah.
people do tattoos like him. And so that's part of the reason why he doesn't post so regularly, because he's talked about it before. He's like, if I post something, like that's my old shit. So like if you want to rip off
That's
that,
awesome.
like I'm already ahead of you.
Yeah.
You know?
He has
Yeah.
hundreds of unposted content.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I
Yeah.
do too. Like,
Yeah.
this is. I try to like I like being active on social media, but I try to stay off of it too. This at the same time as
Mhm.
have this like when you messaged me this morning. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, yeah. It's
So
I
what inspires you then? If you try not to go like too much on social media, like where do you find, well, you were talking about like an illustration books and
Yeah,
things
like
like that and tarot
I
cards
get
and
like when I like do like my motion graphics or design work or even tattoos, like I get like I try to have ideas of emotion invoked into that kind of stuff. So I pull ideas from like movies and TV shows, especially like I like my graphic designs and like this feelings that you have because like I guess my like the ideas I have are like target audiences are around my age because that's the
Mhm.
what I'm emotional. So like I pull like a feeling that I had for different colors when I was a kid seeing like a TV show and I put that stuff into my work because then like when you see it, you're like I feel something but I don't know what it is.
yeah, yeah.
And tattooing is just like I try to make it like just natural and beautiful and kind of like just look very elegant, but at the same time have a lot of feeling to it as well, a lot of motion, a lot of flow, so people can just I don't know feel something when they see it. That sounds kind of cheesy, I guess,
No, not
I
at all,
think
dude.
but
Yeah.
like
art is successful if it
yeah,
evokes
like
emotion.
yeah, it drives me crazy. That's when I want
It's a
everything to
feeling.
flow right and feel right. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's totally a feeling. It's
Yeah.
a
I mean, I
story.
look at other artists and other work and I like you said about Bobby as well, like people see it and stuff like if I see a tattoo that Bobby did or somebody else did, I was like, that's cool. How can I do that? Like I do it. I can take that and do this, this, and this. That'd be awesome. Not that I can make it better, but I love to try the same composition, the same feeling, but do it in the way I do it. And then it kind of like makes my
Mm.
mark and so yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just curious, were you good in school?
Uh,
Like you just seem to have just like a
I was in a private school. I was in a private school from like let me be a little personal here. I was in private school from fifth grade, sixth grade to eighth grade. My dad somebody owed my dad money. So he was like, just put my son in private school. So he paid for my private school. Yeah. So uh so we did that and then I got into like high school. And as soon as I got to high school, I was like, this is so cool. I got a lot of friends here. I'm not gonna go to school at all. And then we just skipped every day and did everything. I got kicked out of high school for missing too many days. I went to night school
Mm.
and then got my diploma and stuff for that. But I was very uninterested in school.
Yeah.
It really was.
So I'm curious if you're the way you enjoy learning things and the way you're like, I'm gonna figure this out. Like I'm curious if that's kind of the same way you got into tattooing.
Exactly the way Sammy got into it. It was like I got tattooed a few times and I was like I had a job. I was working a union job. I was working at a box factory, and I was making well money for being like I was like 18,
Yeah.
and I was working long hours. And I was like, I want to try something different. And I got tattooed, and it was interesting. It wasn't like, oh, this is so cool tattooing. I was just like, I'm gonna try it out, and I got it, and I did it, and I was like, this is hard as shit. And like I had a friend that was very fortunate that I did a lot of bad work on, and I was like, I got to get better. I got to get better. And I mean, it took me a long time because it wasn't easily accessible as it is today. Like, I
Totally.
couldn't just like look on YouTube or watch people tattoo fake skin. There was no fake skin. So, I mean, like, it had a whole bunch of people that I just kept tattooing. And
Yeah.
I still live in the same town I tattoo in. So I see those people quite often and like around town and they pop up. And like, I tattoo people again from like, oh, you tattooed me like 20 years ago. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me see it. I'll
Yeah.
cover it up for you.
Yeah.
So, but it's something like, and that's why I feel like I'm still doing it because I can't figure it out. You can't figure it out. Like there's days you tattoo somebody, you're like, I'm doing great. Next day you tattoo, you're like, who who am I? Like, why am I doing this? Like, how come this ain't when you got to keep remembering, like, not everybody's different. Everybody has different skin types, this, and this. Like, it's a constant battle. It really
Yeah.
is.
Well, I feel like that story kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where like if people want to figure out how to tattoo,
Hmm.
like they're gonna do it. So I feel like a bunch of people are pissed off. They're like, oh, the industry is too saturated now. There's too many people getting into tattooing, and it's like, yeah, but they're gonna get in if they want to. If somebody wants to tattoo, like they're gonna tattoo. So you can either like give them good resources to make good tattoos, or they can fuck people up, or try to learn from somebody who's like not actually good. They're just like trying to make a buck
Yeah,
sort of thing. So,
exactly.
yeah. So this was like when you started tattooing, was that this like in your house?
Yeah, my trailer. So yeah,
Nice.
it's a perfect story that people tell. Like, I got tattooed in a trailer. That was me. I was tattooing those guys in the trailer.
Are you the Florida man?
I'm not the Florida man. My dad's the Florida man. But yeah, we had property. I mean, we had a house, and then my dad had a trailer behind the house that he did his business out of. So like, I started living in that, and not living, but like I was a young, so I had my own little house behind my mom's house, So I started tattooing on my trailer.
That pet gators.
No, I didn't live by a swamp. I know gators. I had like people. I got gators I want to go see,
Yeah.
but they weren't living with me.
Close friends.
Had a pet hermit crab. That was
Yeah. So how did that evolve to where like you ended up getting into a shop?
um, I like I said, I tattooed a little bit out of my house, so it was probably like maybe 6 7 months. I was still working my other job, and then one day I was like, I'm just going to try to get a job at a shop, and I went to this head shop I heard that was hiring.
Head shop?
Sorry, it's like a bong shop.
Ah,
That's
nice.
why I said head shop to somebody else.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
said head shop to somebody else, and they're like, head shop. I was like, I guess it's a Florida thing, but head shop's like a bong
It's a
shop.
hot
This is
Okay,
like
gotcha.
vanilla stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was like a bong shop slash like tattoo shop, and went in there, and I showed my portfolio, which was like all the tattoos that you saw on the screen that on my presentation was just
Sick.
horrible stuff.
Ah,
And like I'm already tattooing in my house, so like when I had problems, I called my friend. I was like, he tattooed. I was like, hey, I'm doing this line. How do I do this line? He's like, just do this. I'm like, all right. I guess it's working. But so I had all that work, and I had drawings that I did too, which was a little different than, like tattoo drawings, of course. And the guy was like, yeah, it looks good. You can work here, I guess. Your tattoos don't okay, but your drawings look nice. I guess you'll get better. I was like, okay. And started working there. And the guy that works there was tattooing there as well is Kevin. He's another guy that actually works with us right now. He's one of my best friends. And we were both there just messing people up, just fucking people up every day. Didn't know what we were doing. Kevin's machine plugged straight into the wall. So
Hell
like
yeah.
it was like a 9 volt, 12 volt thing, but I was professional because I got the professional kid in the back of the magazine.
Hell
So
yeah.
I came in, I was like, I'll show you what I'm doing, but we didn't know what we were
Is
doing. He showed me what I was
that
doing.
little like case,
Yeah.
that has like that little coil machine with like the cool like patterns cut
Yep.
out
I
in
had like a
it?
skull on it and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Mine
is
had
this
stars
Had
in
one tube that I used. I scrubbed it, cleaned it, autoclaved it. I was like, I'll be ready in about an hour because my
Nice.
tube's autoclaving.
Oh,
Yeah, so like
man.
it was like that. I mean, even the first tattoo on my house that I did, like I got the kit, and I was like, I want to be professional because I was making decent money on the job for being 19. So I ordered like, I had the kit, I had like Maticide and all that good stuff. I had an autoclave in my house and stuff. I was like, I can do all this. But I mean, the first tattoo I did, like I didn't know what any of the soaps and
Settings.
stuff were.
Yeah.
So like I was spraying Maticide on them, cleaning it off. Like didn't know about that. Poor guy. I mean, like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So
Hell
it's like
yeah.
it burns. I was like, stop. I was like, I don't. This hurts. So
You're like, I
love
think
it.
it's supposed to. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. So but then it's
That's
funny.
awesome.
I started getting tattooed more and by a friend of mine that tattooed, and he's a phenomenal tattooer now as well. Like he really kind of guidance me. He tattoos out of he was in Ohio. He is in don't know where he's at right now, but his name's Jay Bill Evans. He's awesome. If it wasn't for him, my career wouldn't be where I'm at right now. He's the one that guided me. Not like he was just a friend that tattooed me, but like so much information. And but calling him and doing all that stuff, I totally forgot what I was going with the story.
Well, so you never had like you never really had like a mentor or anything like
Yeah, I
that.
never had a mentor or anything, but okay, we go back to the shop and stuff. So yeah, so me and Kevin are messing people up, and I got into a better shop and just kind of progressed, and then eventually like that shop closed down, and I got into Atomic, which was it's a chain of shops in the Tampa area, but awesome people as well, and they like really took me, and I started being around more tattooers and more tattooers, and after that I kind of like built up and learned more.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why I said it took me so long to get where I'm at, because it was like a 7-year experience to get to that point. And then I feel
Totally.
like when I got there, I was around people that actually knew how to tattoo, and then it's kind of went up from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back in the day, like, we had magazines. Maybe there was, like, a show on TV that you could, like,
Yeah,
slow down and pause and look at.
there was when I
Um,
was tattooing, it wasn't even that. That's
eh,
what's yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
and then
Magazines like the people in my time was like Paul Booth, like Travis
mhm.
Franklin, Aaron Kane, which that's what I was going to the story. I'm sorry. I want the guy that's helping me. I was like, I want to get better machines. Where do I get? He's like, you gotta get Aaron Kane machines. They were the best machines. And I'm tattooing on my house in '99. And I was like, how do I get those? He's like, I don't know. Write him a letter. Maybe he'll send them to you. I was like, okay. So I wrote him a letter. I was like, dear Aaron Kane, can I please buy 2 machines? It was the first machines he ever made. It was the double spiral, and it had the grime graffiti G. And I was
Wow.
like, can I please have 2 machines, please? And I wrote him a letter. I sent him money for like $650 because they were only $325 a piece at the time. And like 3 weeks later, I got machines in the mail from Aaron Payne.
Wow.
And I wish I still had those machines. I don't, but I think I traded them for something. But I got them. I was like, I'm professional now. And I tattooed somebody. I was like, I suck. I'm not professional.
That's so funny. So when you got the job at the head shop, were you still like working your union job at that point?
No, I quit that
Okay,
time. I was like,
gotcha.
this is full time. I'm into this. And like, I was tattooing like 2, 3 people a week. And, they're horrible tattoos, but it built me who I am today. So.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. And do you ever, is there any part of you that is like, damn, when you see like people these days and kids coming in the industry having like awesome apprenticeships, learning right away within like a couple months?
I do. I was like, yeah, it's like, some at the back of your head a little bit, you're like, I wish that was me, because
Yeah,
I would be, I don't know if I'd be farther in my career, but it would be less struggles. But
yeah,
also, I wish it wasn't me, because those struggles are where I'm at today.
what
If I
made you
didn't
do
figure that
that?
stuff out, if it didn't put me in the area I want to be sitting right here, like
Yeah.
everything led to me to where I'm at today, and everything that's going to happen today is going to lead me to where I'm at tomorrow. Like that's the thing. Like I don't regret anything, and it's just
Well, that kind of seems like just like how you are with everything. It's
yeah.
like the way you got into tattooing. It's like, oh, I can figure this out. Like I'm
I can
gonna
figure
figure
it
it out
out.
myself. It might
Yeah.
take you a
I
little
mean, I
bit.
jump into stuff and fuck it up all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Oh, I can't figure this out. I can't figure this out. I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out." So
Yeah.
Do you think that's also kind of where your humility comes from too, is how hard you work? Do you feel like people who may have had it a lot easier, who kind of like get it right away,
hmm
maybe don't appreciate it as
yeah,
much?
I think so. Yeah, I think I can definitely see that. Just talking to people that, I mean, it's not like I'm jaded or anything, but like when people go like, you can just tell like I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, and like I'm like you didn't go through the struggles, but at the same time I'm like that's them, like
Yeah,
they're struggling their own way. Even though they're putting out this right here, they're dealing with something. Everybody deals with
absolutely.
something, and
Yeah.
I try not to judge people like that, just
Mhm.
because like it does get to you. You're like you have it so easy, you don't know, but at the same time you're like they don't have it easy, they don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like so
Yeah.
you
Well,
never know
I,
what
I
people's
I
going
feel
through.
like in any industry, but I feel like the industry is like constantly changing too. And
hmm
so it's just, I feel like as it progresses, there's just like different set of circumstances, different set of challenges. And it's
Yeah,
like maybe not like, maybe it's just hard in a different way,
yeah,
not necessarily like,
Right.
yeah,
parts of it are easier, but parts of it are harder too,
yeah.
I mean, there was years after I started tattooing where I felt like bitterness. Like
Mm.
when I got out of my apprenticeship, it took like 5 years. And
Mhm.
then right out of that, I was feeling really bitter. And it took me a while to just be like, people can work hard and not have to go through what I went through, and that's
Yeah,
fine. And then it got to a point where I'm like, I noticed that at any time that I felt like I was worrying about somebody else, it meant like I had to do work on my
yeah,
own. It meant that like I was feeling
yeah,
insecure about something and I had to work on my own tattoos.
yeah, yeah. I I see other people's work. I mean, like I see your work and like this other people's work. I'm just like, how? Why not me? But at the same time, it's not like why not me? It's like how do I get there? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
how can I do that? It's not like what they're doing that I'm not doing. It's not
Yeah.
nothing like that. This is like what how can like what is that? Like, I just want to
It's so
know.
crazy to
What?
hear you say it because I feel that about you.
No,
Yeah.
and that's crazy that you say that to me because I'm like, you're just saying that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, I love
But
your mentality about it. It's like before we started airing this morning, you were talking about Alex sourcing. You're like, yeah, I want to figure out how to do that. And it was from like just like the purest place of like,
yeah,
that's so cool. Like, I want to know how he does that.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a great
I
attitude
want
to
to take all the tools that I have in whatever I do and just like take them all because if I know all these tricks and all these tools, I can apply into something that I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tattoo like Alex does. I'm not going to tattoo like Bobby does, but I can take the stuff that they do, I can apply it to what I do to make it better. I mean, it's just like a video game, just collecting items so you can be better in your quest.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so,
Yes.
So when did you start to get into teaching then?
I did the first Explorer conference, but you did one as well, right? Um, I met them at the first one they ever did, and just kind of kicked it off with them. And
What year was this? Probably like
2017, possibly,
okay,
maybe
yeah,
18.
yeah,
I think it was 2017. And the first I didn't do I attended the first conference, and then I reached out to Jake and Jess, and I was like, hey, you guys are awesome doing what you're doing. I love to help out if I can. And as I was saying that, I wasn't like saying that I want to help out the presenter or anything. It's just, and then so the next one they had, they asked like, can you just a little bit about your merch and marketing? And I kind of did it like in a small crowd on the side. And felt like I totally messed it up because I was like, I'll go talk about it. And I got there like, what am I going to talk about? And I just kind of showed some stuff. And then they asked me to come back for like a full length presentation when I did LA. And that's when I started doing my merch stuff. And then I did the tattoo one for them as well. So yeah, and it's just kind of keep building and building. And I do feel more comfortable talking about merch and my graphic design stuff to how that you can apply that to tattooing because I feel like if I'm going in front of everybody, like if you're presenting about tattooing, somebody else presenting about tattooing, like even though I do have stuff that's different, I just feel like it's very repetitive. So I want to like break it
sure,
up and be like
Mhm.
somebody be like, oh, okay, I can do that with mine. It's kind of like I said, like you can use these tools to make your tattooing better, but you're not tattooing. You can put yourself out there, and I
yeah,
feel way more comfortable doing that. The tattooing, because I feel like I said, like tattooing is like mowing the grass for me. I sit down, I start tattooing. It's just like I'm just doing it. This is it. Like you ask me a question, I can answer it, but like I don't know. It's weird.
yeah,
I also want to note too, like the way you tattoo is you talk about learning different ways of tattooing can be applicable to you. And I especially feel like I posted about it, like your style of work, anyone who does any kind of like version of neo,
Hmm.
trad, things like that is a foundation and can apply
It is.
to all of tattooing.
It is.
And so especially like if I hear like see people who are like who don't utilize seminars from as many artists as they can
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I don't do that style, so I don't need to like
Huh?
go there." It's painful
Yeah.
cuz I'm like you can apply everything you taught to everyone's version of
Yeah.
tattooing.
That's why when you asked me about your seminar doing yourself, I was like, I'd love to do that because I'm not going to tattoo like you. I know I probably can't even think like that, but I'll see something and be like, okay, that's it. That's what I need to do. And I'm
Challenge
gonna take it and these little
accepted.
things.
I'm
yeah.
gonna make you. I'm gonna make it really easy for you. You're gonna
And then I'll like, okay, I can use this. And like, I mean, like, I want to learn everything. Everybody should learn everything. Like, if you're in a rabbit hole, or not rabbit hole, but it's like a closed room, just learn the same thing, echo chamber. It's just going to be the same all the time. Like, that's why, like, it's, so much information in the world. Just take it. Like,
yeah.
it's crazy. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Have you ever had apprentices yourself?
We had a few apprentices at the shop. We had probably about three or so. Personal apprentices. I had one. So yeah,
Gotcha.
but I don't.
Good
It was
experience.
a good experience. They're all
Yeah.
great experiences.
Good.
It just now it's just this is not enough time. Like I feel like it won't be fair to teach somebody because we've been so busy, and
Mhm.
I don't want to just have free labor. That's what people
Yeah,
feel like they have, but
yeah.
we would want to give them what we can and make it
Mhm.
100%. And right now it's just not the time to do it. So
That's so important.
it is.
It sucks seeing people like take on apprentices when they don't have the time just for the free labor
Yeah, I mean, I
and
see shops that have like 15 apprentices, and they're doing it just so they can teach them to work from them. So
especially from somebody like that's what I did
yeah,
too, for so long and
yeah.
I wasn't taught tattooing for many, many
How
years.
long you been tattooing for?
Officially or unofficially?
Unofficially.
15.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It sounds better.
Again, 5 years of apprenticing, so like
Yeah.
officially 10,
Yeah.
but
Awesome.
15 years ago is when I got somebody who was old enough at the time I was 16 to like get a kit from the head shop.
That's awesome.
And I had the little like coil with the stars
Mm-hmm.
on it. I didn't know what maticide was or
Yeah.
anything
I
like
didn't either,
that.
obviously. So.
I didn't know how to put rubber bands on the machine. I didn't know you needed them. I didn't know anything.
When I was tattooing yesterday, I was asking for rubber bands, and they're like, "What for what?" I was like, "I need rubber bands for machines." It's just funny because nowadays, like back then, I like everybody had rubber bands, but now it's like this is kind of getting fizzled out. Those things, so it's just funny.
So you still tattoo with coils?
I tattoo with rotary, like Dan Cubans, but I still need that for my line work. I'm very particular about it, and I need like that resistance. I need that feeling of the machine on it. Like I can feel
The heaviness too,
I can
probably.
feel the heaviness and just feel like how the skin's reacting and stuff. Like
Mm,
just I put my thumb on it and kind of feel like how the armature bar is hitting. Like I
yeah.
just need that. And with the shading, I don't need that much. But with line work, I'm like my line work has to be perfect. Like it's just it has to be that way. And I feel like I can only achieve that with like rotaries. That's only I can. So
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, Asking for a friend, how if you were to use a Dan Cuban and it was spitting a lot,
Mhm.
what would be some things you would look at to
What
try and fix that
which one? What
problem?
version is it? Do you know?
Sidewinder,
Yeah, but it's like the newest one. There's like an older one.
2017.
Yeah, probably like a V6 or 4.
Mhm.
I used the Tatsul Wrath grips, and I feel like those have been the best for that machine. And just possibly the way you wrap the rubber bands around the machine can have a little bit. I know people flip their needle bars opposite direction,
I heard that
but
too,
I never really had any issues with spin. But I used Gen 2 Wrath grips, and I feel like those work the best with that machine. And
mm,
this slight bend on the needle bar.
okay, so like
Yeah.
a specific
I
tube.
feel like maybe that's all I use, so I never had that issue.
Okay.
I'd had to spin it every once in a while, but it's just that down pop on the end that pops that ink out of it. So
Yeah.
like if you kind of like if you had the rubber bands around there and you just move the rubber bands up a little bit on the tube, but down a little bit on the tube, it kind of adjusts that as well too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'll tell my friend that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Your
very,
friend can send me pictures and I'll
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool
I'll let
stuff.
them know. Uh,
She'll send it from her phone.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
from
Yeah.
for her friend.
My friend's phone's dead.
Yeah.
yeah, so some of the tools you use, what do you feel like somebody who's wanting to dive into a style similar to yours, what are some of the most important tools, machines that you could suggest?
I mean that's so I think whatever works for you really.
Or are you even
It's
big on brands, or is it more like
It's
more
not
of the
really brand. I
person?
just want a quality thing that's going to work and be consistent. That's really the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, like you can use a machine. Like I was asking about your machines. You're like, I use this. And I was like, okay. So like it's working for you perfectly, but it might not work for me. Like for the longest time, like I said, I tattooed with coils and stuff. And
Mm,
when I switched over to a different thing, I was able to I used coils to shade with for the longest time. And then I just went over to like a Cheyenne machine and started using it. And like me using that machine made me move my hands differently
mm,
because it had that didn't have that weight on the back. So I was like, "Oh, I can
Yeah.
whip it this way now." So like I adjusted my technique with the machine itself. So it's just like I would say try everything until you get comfortable with what you want to use because like there's not just one machine to buy. There's not just one thing that's going to make your world easy because I would buy a machine and use it like this is great, and then like 3 months later like it's not working right for me. I got to buy another machine, and like I just keep trying different stuff till it works, and I feel like it's never going to be ending. It's like just everything.
Yeah.
So it all depends on your style of not I hate saying style, but it all depends like how you approach your tattooing and coming from like tattooing from 20 years ago using coil machines. Like I'm just so used to using that kind of stuff for certain things again that look, and I feel like it's only achievable with that type of machine. The Cubans make it easy for me to line with and
mm,
just get that because I tattoo off the needle a lot. Like it hangs
yeah.
out far, and I need an extra little whip on the end to like pop it in there. So
Mm,
Yeah.
great.
As a non-tattoo artist, but I feel like so many people get so hung up on like, oh, well, what needles are you using? What machine are you using?
yeah,
And it's like, dude, like maybe at some point it doesn't like matter too much as long like you said, as long as you have like
yeah,
quality equipment, but I feel like it's whatever works for you,
yeah.
you know?
That's what I like saying. I use the example too of one of my first apprentices. They got a machine and it was like this cheap like knockoff or something, and
Like
like
a $70 machine or something like
yeah,
that.
and he was like, man, like it's like it's just fucking stuff. Like I'm not tattooing well with it. And I was like, let me try it. And
You're like, this thing's awesome.
yeah, I used it for like I used it for
She used it for the whole tattoo that day, and it
That's
came
awesome.
out badass.
I love that tattoo. I was like, and it's just an example. It's like, I think if you're a really good tattooer, you can figure it out with a
Yeah.
safety pen and ink.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
like I said, I use my machines like when I'm lining and stuff. I'm like, maybe there's something better. Maybe it's not working the way I want it to. I'm gonna get this machine and do it, and then just doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just doing this. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just hard. And then I'm trying to find something that's easy for me, and it's not. Like, it's just, everything's the same, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, nothing, no tools, nothing replaces just hard work
Yeah, doesn't.
and consistency.
Mm.
So when did you move to opening up your own shop?
We opened me, Russell, and we had another partner, Alex. We opened a shop in 2010. It was called Trilogy Tattoos, and that's from we worked at the old shop together. It was called Atomic Tattoos, and
And this was in Tampa as
Tampa,
well?
yes. And then we owned that shop for 10 years, and then Alex parted ways with us, and me and Russell went over to Hart, which we opened that up in 2020. It was, yeah, no,
Mm.
2021, somewhere around there. Yeah, 2020.
Mm.
Cool. How's that been?
It's great.
Owning a shop.
Love it. Yeah. It's definitely the favorite shop so far. So yeah,
Awesome.
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you have plans for the next one?
I mean, I have ideas, and like it's not like a next shop, but like how we can make our shop better and just keep progressing and evolving and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Totally. So it's you and Russell running it. Do you have any other help, like a shop manager or anything
we
like
don't.
that?
That's the thing we've been wanting to look into this.
I think I saw you were hiring
We're
for some or looking.
we're looking for an artist.
Gotcha.
We had one of our artists left, and want to be closer to his family, so open a little private studio up. We miss him a lot. So, but then we're like, we can't replace Danny,
Yeah.
but we're trying to find somebody else. But yeah, we don't have a shop manager. We don't have a phone or anything like that. And because the old shop was like, it was kind of run like we came from Atomic, which was like a walk-in base shop.
Sure.
So we're like, we're gonna structure it this way. So we did that for 10 years. Like, well, I don't know if I like the structure in that way. Let's try this way. And now we're trying this way. Like, maybe we can do a mixture of that and this.
Yeah.
So then we're trying to figure out like, get a shop help, get like maybe a little more like maybe we should get a phone, maybe we shouldn't get a phone, maybe a text line. So
Yeah.
but I mean like since we don't have a shop help, like it would be really bad for have a phone, and then like I'll answer it and like get up and start,
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah.
so like
Nobody ever answers it.
yes, so everybody just comes in and does their own thing, and we all, it's awesome. It's a big open space, kind of like here, and we just all
Nice.
yell at each other and make jokes all day.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
that's what I love about it. So
Yeah.
When's your next seminar?
I have one planned.
Wasn't it? Oh, I love Dre and Amanda.
Yeah,
An electric field.
it was
Weren't they
great.
amazing?
Oh my God, like if I can't express like how awesome it was this weekend. Like it was so welcoming. The people that came to the seminar was amazing. Like it was like they said it went perfect. I felt like like I was stumbled a little bit and stuff, but they said everything was great. So like I was like this is it. It was awesome.
I love that. I love too that I think, yeah, 99% of the people that came to your seminar were women. And
Yeah.
it was just so
I was like,
cool.
this is my demographic. This cool.
Yeah.
So,
I think they said there was like
very
one
eager to learn.
dude there.
Yeah.
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 It was just so cool, like seeing it.
People think I'm a woman already, so yeah, I get it all the time. So.
Yeah, I guess Squire is a little bit.
Squire, yeah, and then like I do pretty tattoos, so
Yeah.
they come in, they're like, I'm here for Squire, I'm like that's me. They're like, ah, stop it.
They just leave.
Yeah, I was like,
They-
no, it's me. I do pretty tattoos.
They're like, I didn't expect the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've owned a shop for 12 years now. When did traveling come in the middle of this, and how did that come about?
I think really after the first Explorer as well. That's when I started like, I started some of the presenters. I knew Dan Pimble very well. He was a friend.
I
of
love
mine.
Dan. Yeah, we met
Dan's-
him at the last convention. He's super
He-
nice, dude. Yeah.
Bob Dan.
Yeah.
I love Dan. So I went to the Chicago convention and he was there, and I was like, "You're doing a seminar at Explore?" He's like, "Yeah, you should go." I was like, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really curious how you do this." And I saw Teresa was presenting. I was like, why does Teresa do this for? He's like, "Just come and ask him." I was like, that's how it works. So I went there and I made friends with like Teresa. I made friends with like other people. Like I think Justin was there. I made friends with Justin.
And that's so badass because you've been tattooing like fucking 17, 18
Yeah,
years at this point, and
yeah.
you're like
And
still like, oh, I want to figure out how they do all this. That's
I
so
mean, it's just
cool.
things that they did, and like I was just like, why doing this? Like, what makes that? Why does it look so interesting for?
Mm.
And so I did that, and after talking to some of the people, like I had a lot of people that came to that seminar was people that I was already friends on the internet with, so I met them in real life, and it was a very humbling experience, and I was like, I need to put myself out there no more. I need to travel. I need to meet these people. I need to work at their shops. Like I'm not going to. I can look at this stuff from afar and try to figure out. I can just fucking be there and be like, hey, can I just watch you and do it? So I started traveling more guest spots than conventions because conventions are great too, but you're just busy the whole time. They're
Yeah,
really at
totally.
the end of the day, like I
Guest
want to.
spots are a lot more intimate
I just
for
want to
sure.
go eat dinner and go home. So,
Yeah.
so the guest spots, I started doing more and putting myself out there, and that's when really it kicked all the travel and stuff off, and me like trying to figure stuff out, and get that way.
Dang, that's so cool. So it was born out of like, I want to be around these people. I
Yeah,
want to learn more.
yeah.
Awesome.
And then like Instagram helps so much, just like being able to easily book up and go out in that area. So
Yeah.
it was nice.
So, but, and just for people who don't know, so like when you traveled, you like lived in a trailer, right?
That came later.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started.
Well, walk me through this because
Okay, so
I'm
yeah.
interested. Yeah.
So 2017 is when the Explorer thing happened, and I started doing more guest spots and started traveling more. I made a good clientele. I came to Austin a lot, and I love Texas. So I love barbecue, my favorite thing in the world, barbecue and nachos.
Oh
So
yeah.
and they have it here a lot. So I started going back and forth to Austin a lot, and I was like, and I was going to Portland as well, and the type of tattoos I was doing was very popular in the Portland area. It's like very florally and stuff like that. So I was traveling more, and my kids started getting a little older, and my wife started working, doing the laser cut stuff and working from home. And this out of nowhere, we're like driving down because if you go on like one of our interstates in Florida, there's just tons of RV stuff. I was like, we should buy an RV and live out of it. Ha, ha, ha. And she was like, yeah, right. I was like, let's go look at them. And we went to go look at them. It was like was a regular like Forest River. It had like a little bunk bed, super cheap. And she's like, I can't do this. I was like, yeah, right. And a couple months went by again. I was like, well, let's go look at the Airstreams. They look kind of fun. And we went there. She's like, I can do this. And like literally, we saw a model. My daughter was 14 and my son was 12 or 11 at the time. And we saw a model that had like bunk beds in the back and stuff. And I was like, let's go look at it and see like if it can fit us. We walked in it and we bought it that day.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't have a truck yet or anything. So like we went to go buy a truck like the next day after that, and we were rented our home at the time, and I was like, this is it. Like we'd all at least go. I was still part owner at Trilogy, so I told the guys, I was like, hey, I'm gonna travel for a few months just to kind of do this because I had this opportunity to, and we did. We did it for 8 months. So we left Florida and we came to Austin, and like I said earlier, we stayed at Lake Travis, and we were there for a month. We had no plans where to go after that. Like I was like, I have clientele in Austin. It was the first invitation that Tony did.
Yeah.
So we drove straight there, and I never towed anything, never drove that far. And I was like, we'll be in Austin in 17 hours. I got a tattoo tomorrow. And I was like, we get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. I can sleep and tattoo. We got there at 8 o'clock in the morning because we thought like it would be the speed limit, but towing something takes extra
Yeah.
time. And on the way out of Florida, like I left my wallet on top of a truck and lost my wallet. So like we're almost out of Florida, and I was like, I can't get an ID if I'm out of Florida. Like I could possibly, but it's gonna take so much time. So luckily, like we're almost out of Tallahassee area, and there's a DMV, and it was like 4:30, and I pulled up to this DMV. We had this big ass truck, and this DMV was like in a school bus, and I was like, I don't know about this. I walked in there, and I was like,
That's so Florida.
yeah, I was like, I'm here for getting an ID. Like, oh yeah, sit down. I was in there for 10 minutes and out in 10 minutes. I was like, this is great.
Okay, so
Wow.
when I need an ID, I'm driving to
Yep.
Tallahassee because it'll
Yep.
still
The
be
school bus.
faster
There's
than.
a school bus, and it was fast. 'Cause I was like, we're gonna be here all night. I said, this is taking our time. So, but we got there, and luckily I was there for a month, so I canceled my appointment and just hung out at the convention all weekend. I was like, I can't tattoo. I was going on pure adrenaline because I was not tired, and so we stayed in Austin for a month, and my wife figured out the rest of our trip, how we're gonna go, and all that stuff. And I kind of like picked major cities that I know had some clientels in and shops that I can like kind of grow my clientele in that area. So we did Austin, then we did like Denver, Salt Lake City, went down to Vegas, then we did I was supposed to that's when LA when the Explorer were doing their women's summit, I was trying to go to LA, but we was able to make because there's fires going on. So we went to San Diego, we went to Portland, and we got to Portland till like the very end of like November. And it was just rainy the whole time, and we got really depressed because we stayed in our trailer the whole time.
Totally.
Our cats were depressed, my kids were depressed, and we're like,
Oh, you had cats with you too?
we had two cats. So yeah, so we had the whole family with us. So just this because usually when we park somewhere, we can like go out and have fun.
Yeah.
But now since it's rainy,
Yeah.
like we had nothing to do, and there's nothing outside activities, so we were still there for a month. That was a great time, and then we left and came back home.
Yeah. So when you started guest spotting and doing conventions, that was kind of like because you wanted to travel, you wanted to learn, but like, is that what kind of drove the RV thing too, or like what was
The RV thing was like I was able to do that.
Okay.
So I was like, this is the time now that I have my family. I always traveled. I want them to come with me. I want them to be a part of this as well.
Yeah.
So and we're able to. My kids, we know, went to homeschool and all that stuff. So my wife almost killed him, but it worked out.
well? So how
awesome.
was that whole experience?
It was fine. It's just my daughter did great. My son's like me when I was younger.
Oh, not
so-
the homeschooling, but
Oh,
like
okay.
just the traveling
Okay.
in general.
Okay, I was like, that sounds great. You know, he gave a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, oh, like you're really like
the travel
driving down
experience
the
is
RV
great.
market right
I can,
now.
yeah, knock on wood, like we didn't have any issues. I think the only issue we had is when we got to Portland area, something happened to our trailer. Or okay, we're in Lake Tahoe, and it wouldn't come unjacked. Like it got stuck on there, and the jack wouldn't come down. And that's the only issue we had the whole time. And then, like, knock on wood, that's the only thing that happened. Everything else was like smooth
Yeah.
sailing.
Well, I know Airstreams are like really high quality.
That's the reason we got it
trailers,
because
too.
like we bought it new and our truck new. It's because like any issues we have on the road, we want like I don't want to be stuck somewhere and be like we gotta get our truck fixed, we gotta get our Airstream fixed.
Yeah.
So we got everything new, so we don't have those issues. And
Yeah.
it was great, and we still have it, and we still travel. So we're planning a trip this summer as well.
Yeah.
I love that.
So how was that for like your kids and your family?
I think it was a pivotal like you have certain parts in your life that you look back on, and like I remember when I did this. I remember when in college I was like, this is like that starts off like I remember when we traveled, and those kids are gonna be like, I remember when we traveled, and they loved it. I mean, it was a very awesome experience, and it was since we only lived in a trailer and our overhead cost was so low, like I only worked for like a week, and then we traveled for 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
So that
Yeah.
that was the best part about it, and like there's just there's so much awesome stuff to see, and this I wish I could do it again, like that long of a time, and I could, but it's just different part of my life now. My kids
Yeah.
are growing, and
Yeah,
me
totally.
and my wife plan on doing that after my son leaves, and he plans to go to college or whatever he's doing. In 2 years, we plan to travel probably for another 6 months and do the same thing. So, and then we can do it how we do it. So,
Yeah. And so you were like, you didn't even have a house at that point because you were just renting your house. You're like left
no,
the house.
we rented our house. Were renting our house, and we let our lease up. And we, as we're moving out of our house, we put the stuff we wanted in storage, and we stayed at a park while we packed everything up. And I mean, we got in the trailer, and I'm sitting there in the truck, and I'm like, here we go, this is it. I drove and hit a pole. And I was like, oh shit! I backed up, and then I left.
So it's all got better from there.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
it was
where you
great.
could start.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't go any better than it did.
Yeah.
And you know, not everybody's gonna have the same experience, but like, I was just very fortunate that it went the way it did.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if you'd like recommend that to other
I
people.
recommend. I mean, if you can do it, people can do it. People, if they can travel, like they have the opportunity. Everybody, I think, like tattooers have the opportunity to do it. And like, oh, maybe when we booked up, I'm like, let's do it. You will like just go if you have no overhead costs. Like, I cannot suggest enough. That's something that you should do. Like, it was a remarkable experience.
I feel like even if you hate it, like you're still gonna take something from that
Yeah,
experience, right?
I mean, you do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you lose all your necessities. You lose your comfortability. That's the biggest thing because like we're living in a small like Airstreams don't have any slides, so like it's a 30-foot trailer. Inside's like 20 foot by like 7 foot, and we have a teenager or like almost a teenager and a young kid and two cats. And like there was times it was like,
Totally. Yeah.
but like if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't grow as a family as we were.
Yeah.
So and that was the best part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know if I could do it. I'll be honest with you. I like space. Have you ever seen that
I like
show? It's
space
like
too.
it's kind of I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like House Hunters for RVs.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
people like going to look at the RVs, and it's like the most pimping thing. They're like, oh, we have 7 kids, and we're gonna live on the road. And there's like fold out dining room tables, and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, dude, it still looks too small for me. You know?
That was it 2 years ago. We went and we were like, let's get a big RV. And I mean, my daughter was already off to she, like I said, she joined the National Guard, so she was already gone. It's just me and my son. And I was like, well, now we have my son. I was like, let's buy some dirt bikes and we can like travel around with dirt bikes. So we got dirt bikes and everything. And I was like, how are we going? Like when I first traveled, what we did was I had the truck and I bought a motorcycle. So when we get to these areas, my wife can use the truck and I can have the
Yeah.
motorcycle. So we got rid of the motorcycle. I was like, okay, we can get dirt bikes now because my wife's like, I'll drop you off wherever we go and we can have the dirt bikes. And I was like, well, let's get a bigger trailer. So we went to go look at like huge trailers, like 45, 50-foot trailers, and they were great. But I mean, like 250, $300,000. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
gonna buy
pricey.
this thing. It's gonna sit in storage for 4 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, and then we got to get a bigger truck to tow it as well. And I was like, do I really need this? Because we're not going to be doing this on full time.
Yeah,
But
totally.
at the same time, like you said, I look at it, I'm like, I want more space.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I felt like it would have been selfish. I was got it and be like, I have more space when I'm in this for 3 months out of the year.
yeah.
But I it was, yeah. I'm being going back out in like 6 or 8 months, like we said. I'm like, I want my space. I don't know if I can do
Yeah.
that again. So I don't know.
But if it's just you and your wife, though, I
It's
feel like
perfect.
it'll
Yeah.
feel way better.
Me and
Yeah,
we traveled with my son last year and it was great. Like we took our dirt bikes that time and went around and dirt bike and it was a whole different experience, different feeling. Everything was great. It was awesome.
So, what are some of your favorite places that you've been to
Definitely.
besides Austin and the brisket?
I love Texas. Love Texas and brisket. But anyways, uh, like Lower Colorado and like Salt Lake City and like Utah in general is probably my favorite places. They have so much stuff to do there.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
it's a beautiful
it's
state.
so
They're
beautiful.
both beautiful states.
We're going.
Yeah, we're going in April.
Yeah, never
What
been.
you going to where? What part is it?
Just Salt Lake.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Never
but
been.
Dre keeps trying
Place
to
is great.
get me to
It's
ski
a
up
clean
there.
city. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
I'm excited.
I've never been there. I feel like I'm really gonna like it.
Yeah. If I can move anywhere else, it'll probably be like Utah area, Texas.
Have you done much like international travel? Bless you.
I did just Iceland. So I
Just Iceland.
just Iceland.
You need a tissue?
I'm good. Yeah, because I feel like on your deathbed, you're not thinking about like all the work you've done. You're
Mhm.
thinking about the memories that you made
Yeah.
and the people that you love, and it's so important to.
It is. I don't want to
do
look back and be
things.
like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would
Yeah.
have done that. And I want to do that. I want to do it now. So
Yeah.
Ugh, I love it, and I love getting to know more about you, like the man behind the sick tats.
oh, that's me crying in the shower every night. It's good.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So what's next for you, man? I mean, your son's gonna graduate in a couple of years. You do
Yeah,
some more
and like I said, we're
traveling.
probably going to travel a little bit, and I don't know. We do want to do international. We want to travel international. I want to do more international conventions. I've never done it. I want to. Just because our kids, I want to take my wife with me while we go over there. So it's kind of hard with them as well. So I guess we're gonna wait to that, and then we're gonna go over there and do some things. Like we went to Iceland before. I tattooed out there, and then she came out there, and we traveled. That was awesome. But
Yeah.
that's the only farthest I've ever been.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Iceland would be so cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful country. Small.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. It's crazy.
Yeah. I bet.
They have like an app that tells you if you're related to somebody. In case you want to hook them up in the bar, you're like, hold on, let's see if you're family members, and that's like that's so
so
true.
fun.
That's $1 million idea right
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is
They're
so
like
fun.
last name. Okay, we're cool. That's,
We're good.
it's only like 500,000 people. I think it is. Like,
Yeah.
maybe less than that. But
That's wild.
My dad talks about how his like cousins met at a bar and they didn't know they were related
Yeah.
until they.
It can happen.
it
Yeah.
can
You never
happen.
know. Small world.
Especially
Yeah.
from the same area, the same town all the time.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows everybody.
That's really funny. Well, have we got you anything else you want to talk about, or
Whatever you guys.
we talked about traveling, Florida
How-
man shit?
How can people get a hold of you?
This is my website. My name's squirestrahan.com, and hopefully we'll email you back.
Do you have
So-
merch for sale?
Not right now. I have some new stuff. I was talking about it earlier today. Like I've been selling the same stuff for probably like 3 years, and now I'm getting to it. It feels like it's very repetitive, and it's bothering me. This the same. So I want to. I'm kind of person that like I don't want to keep pushing old stuff. I want to do something new and have a wow factor. You know, I want people to come up like, oh, there's new stuff here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get some new ideas. I have some new things I want to push out. We have a little side project we're going to start doing. So like a clothing, not a clothing line, but like a whole new line of stuff that we're gonna name and brand. So we're trying to figure that out. But hopefully within the next few months, we're gonna advertise it and get it out. Hopefully before the Austin convention.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Can't wait.
it's gonna be fun.
Cool.
See you there.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for joining us. I know
No,
you had
this is fine.
had a busy weekend.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Are you exhausted, dude?
I feel great today. I was exhausted coming up to it. It was a lot of sleepless nights.
Did you because you flew in Saturday?
I flew Saturday night or Saturday evening, and I still, decided last minute to redo my whole presentation that week. And
Don't we all?
yeah, I stayed up until like, I got the presentation done like finally around 2:30 Saturday night, and I had to do it next day. And then I was like, I'm done. I got a tattoo tomorrow. I got to draw my tattoo still. So I want to sleep. I want to sleep around 2:30, and then woke up around 5:30. Like set my alarm and started drawing, and then I drew a tattoo, and I was like, I don't like this, and I redrew another tattoo after that, and then did my presentation. So, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe my body like stress, like they love stress. Maybe this is like I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why I do this myself, because I was like, you're gonna feel
Maybe,
this way. Like, subconsciously, like you like doing this, but like the same, I'm gonna look back at this. It's gonna be a pivotal part of my life that I can
Yeah.
look back and be like, okay, yeah, I remember this, and like this is something that I can reference for later.
Yeah.
And you tried your best.
I tried my best. That's all that matters. Try my
So
best.
important.
Yeah.
I don't-
Well, and did a great job.
Okay.
From all accounts.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I didn't. I'm referencing the four.
I was like, I know, I tried my best.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was referencing the 4 agreements where one of the things that you should live by is like always do your best,
Yeah.
even if it means staying up till like 2:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, because you want to do your best. So you always know, like, well, like I did my best work,
Yeah, did my best work.
and it was incredible. The bit that I saw in your seminar was phenomenal. I was so inspired.
I'm
and-
glad you guys came. I'm glad I met you there too. It was awesome.
Yeah, super.
I gotta tell you, you look fancy as fuck. I was like, damn, that's a beautiful man.
I was heading to the dinner, man. I had to look nice. Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I looked at you and I was like, wow, that's cool. That's him.
Well, thanks, man, and yeah, thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to come do the podcast. It's been awesome
No, it was awesome.
chatting
Yeah,
with you and
for
getting.
sure.
I feel like I've known you for a long time
Sweet.
because I listened to that Bobby podcast a
Cool,
couple years
awesome.
ago, and
Oh.
that's why I like these things because I feel like you know somebody a little bit better. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. But I stay here, like, I want to interview you guys, ask you all your questions, but I guess you don't do that. So
No, I mean you can. We got some time.
I don't know what to ask you though. It's like
We can also just like hang out as friends too.
I like doing that. I like hanging out with friends. So, yeah.
Get some dinner or something
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was awesome. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you follow Squire on Instagram at Squire Strahan. Check out his website, squirestrahan.com.
Sweet.
Sweet. See you next time.